Well, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like Suicide Squad is continuing to take L after L after L. And listen, I get it. There is so many Suicide Squad players that are in my comments doing everything they can to defend this game, but there is no defending this game against the massive onslaught of L's that it is experiencing over the last, week or two now that it's been out.
Computer, activate the threat assessment matrix.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
This game is getting absolutely crucified in every way imaginable. We have an article here from GamesBeat with a headline that says, "Why did players pick Helldivers 2 over Suicide Squad?" Now, the funny thing is, this is a genuine question that I feel like needs answering because a lot of people in my comments too are also telling me that I should play Helldivers 2. Now, let's be clear. I don't play Suicide Squad because I'm not into that nonsense. I just think it's an absolute garbage game overall, and I already knew this live service superhero game was going to go the same exact way as Marvel Avengers. I've been saying that time and time again, and no matter how many people go into my comments and try to say, no, you're wrong, this game is going to go stand the test of time, I promise you in the next year or two, I will not be wrong about this game, and if I am, I will gladly admit that I was. But let's get into this article, guys, from GamesBeat. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video to push us out into the YouTube algorithm. Guys, we're almost at 31,000 subscribers. We just hit 30K. We're almost at 31. Absolutely insane. Come check us out on Hypnocast every single night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, our new daily live stream. So it says, over the last 2 weeks, Helldivers 2 and Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League launched. However, fans had dramatically different takes on these co-op shooters. Arrowhead Games' Helldivers 2 became the biggest PC launch ever for a PlayStation. Over the weekend, the title peaked at over 155,000 concurrent players on Steam. That's insane. That's insane because Suicide Squad couldn't even get anywhere close to that number. Just think about that for a second. But I'm going to be fair, okay? I'm going to be very fair to Suicide Squad, and I'm going to put it to you like this. Helldivers 2 is massively more successful, not just because it's a better game, not just because it's more fun, not just because it's probably more polished. That's not just the reasons. The simple reason is the affordability and the ease of entry into Helldivers versus Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad is a $70 pile of shit, right? $70 you got to pay in order to get into that game. Helldivers 2 is $39.99 for the standard edition and $59.99 for the deluxe edition. So even at the deluxe edition, you are still paying less than you would pay with Suicide Squad. That makes the ease of entry into Helldivers 2 much easier than Suicide Squad. But you also have to understand that Suicide Squad, in theory, should have a bigger namesake, right? This is DC Comics. This is Suicide Squad. They should be much more well-known. They should be much more famous than Helldivers. But Helldivers 2 is just completely destroying them in every way imaginable. And I think Helldivers 2 is doing better because people were looking for an actively good co-op game, and they were hoping to get it with Suicide Squad, but since they got heavily disappointed, they probably heard about this game and carried over with their money. So sometimes that happens, and I'm just trying to be fair. So then it says, this is more than double the all-time peak of Sony Santa Monica's God of War on PC, which reached over 73,500 concurrent players. Notably, Helldivers 2 launched on PC and PlayStation 5 simultaneously, but God of War launched on consoles in 2018 and released on Steam 4 years later. In contrast, Rocksteady's Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League was panned by players and critics. Commercially, the title's struggling too. The title peaked at 13,400 concurrent players shortly after launch, but failed to retain them. Currently, the number of people playing Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is similar to the number playing Rocksteady's Batman Arkham Knight, which released in 2015. Now, I made a video about that. I'm not going to bring it back up again. Arkham Knight obviously is destroying Suicide Squad, as sad as that is. But just think about these numbers for a second, ladies and gentlemen. Helldivers hit 155,000 concurrent players. Suicide Squad, at its best number, hit 13,400 players. Now, obviously, this is on Steam only. It is much bigger on consoles, but even so, Avengers was also much bigger on consoles compared to Steam, and that game completely died as well. You can be in your feelings as much as you want about this. You can deny and deny and deny. Nobody's saying you can't enjoy the game. Nobody's saying you can't enjoy Suicide Squad for what it is. If you like Suicide Squad, there's nothing wrong with that. You can go play the game and be fine. What ends up happening is when you you come out and say, oh, you're wrong and you're just being angry, you're an asshole, you're this, you're that, because somebody has a differentiating opinion from you, that's when you're wrong. That's when people have an issue. You look like an idiot when you defend a game that is notoriously terrible from many different points of view, right? You're not even just talking about gameplay. You're talking about overall the product itself, the quality behind it, the actual presentation. All of it is pretty damn terrible. Even the graphics were being compared to the previous Arkham games, and the Arkham games look way better than Suicide Squad, as sad as that is, even at max settings. So listen, you gotta understand that people are gonna have a problem with this game. And me, myself, being a YouTuber, I'm obviously gonna talk about the game. Even if I never fucking played, I'm still gonna report on it. No matter how much the lovers of Suicide Squad wish I wouldn't do so, I'm going to continue to do so. But I just think it's pretty damn funny that the numbers are so drastically different. But again, we have to be fair and understand that Helldivers 2 is much easier to get into, at least financially speaking. It says both Helldivers 2 and Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League promise players a fast-paced co-op shooter experience with plenty of humor. So why did they have such different outcomes? Ultimately, it comes down to the differences in setting and monetization. Like recent movie, series, and video game adaptations, Suicide Squad has the more challenging of standing out against the glut of superhero content. Moreover, Suicide Squad's monetization is turning fans off. The title fits Warner Bros. Discovery Inc.'s shifting focus to games as a service, but the Suicide Squad's microtransaction focus comes with a stigma. Additionally, the need for infinitely replayable content clashes with Rocksteady's expertise in handcrafted single-player story games. And I'm a big fan of this. I'm a big fan of single-player story-driven games that are all just one and done, but give you a fantastic experience while you're in it. I wish that these studios would stop this games as a service nonsense. Nobody has liked the games as a service model since the inception. Nobody has liked it, okay? You guys are trying to be fake massive multiplayer online games. That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to be fake MMORPGs, and you're never going to give the actual content that MMORPGs provide, so you're never going to actually reach the player base that they also reach, and you're never going to be able to be consistent with it to the point where people are going to want to stick around and be interested in the overall outcome of the game long term. You're going to have people that are going to play it short term and then eventually get bored and move on. You don't have that MMORPG draw that those MMOs have. It says, in comparison, Helldivers 2 comes with less recognizable IP, but makes up for it in other ways. The Star Trek Troopers-inspired setting and humor distinguish it from the competitors. Additionally, Arrowhead designed Helldivers 2 microtransactions to not be pay-to-win, FOMO-driven system. The contrasting launch of Helldivers 2 and Suicide Squad highlight the gambling of building a AAA live service game. With so many games competing for players, standing out against the crowd is essential. IP can help, but unique gameplay and a fair monetization makes a more impactful first impression. This last paragraph right here, I could not agree more with this sentiment. Suicide Squad is a cash grab game. You can smell it from a mile away. You can literally see it the moment you boot the game up. This game is meant to drain every single dollar from you if you're a DC fan. Whereas Helldivers 2 is not necessarily trying to do that. Helldivers 2 is trying to give you an entertaining experience while also trying to make some money, because obviously money makes the world go round and you need money in order to continue the service. Nobody, profit's not a dirty word. I totally understand that. But there is a point where it becomes a bit ridiculous. Like Diablo Immortal, for example, absolutely fucking ridiculous. Even though it's a free-to-play game, it's still insanely ridiculous. So the same thing happens with Suicide Squad. We're going to see what happens as time goes on. But if there's more news to report about Suicide Squad, you bet your ass I will be reporting on it. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.